Turn that off. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Don't mind my hair. I am about to get it braided, okay? So do not judge me. How's your weekend, guys? How was your weekend? I had an uneventful weekend. I didn't really do anything like I normally do, you know. I'm boring. I was just at home with the kitties. We went to this new restaurant to try the food, because it wasn't a sit-down restaurant, so we couldn't like sit down and eat. I can't even say that. I must have eaten crayfish at some point in my life, but it's not something that I normally eat. And I spent $35 and I hated it. Not the crayfish, not the cooking itself. The cooking was fine. You know, it was in a great, you know, garlic butter sauce and whatever. But I don't think I like crayfish. I should have just ordered flipping shrimp. That's one thing about trying new things. Because I hate trying new things like I did in this instant, and I end up wasting my money or wasting my time. That's why I like to stick to what I know. Yes, but that's always the fear. Like, oh my God, I'm going to change from what I normally do and I'm not going to like it. And in this instance, I waste money. So that will be on my I'm going to be thinking about this 20 years from now. Because that's just how my head, you know. Oh, this sun is... My edges are growing back, guys. Like, after years of flipping tight braids and stuff. And even though that's what I'm going to get done now. But I know better, you know. Because there would be times I go braid my hair and I'm like, oh, don't do it too small. And then I sit there for hours and it's done. Actually fall out with my hair attached. So that's why I have no flipping edges. It's growing back, but it's not as, you know, as far as it should be. Because this has been years of... I used to have dreads, but then I didn't like the way it was growing because of the bald spots. And then some were bigger than some. And so I cut it off. I had it for about, what, 2-3 years maybe? And then maybe even longer than that. And then I cut it off and I went bald. Every hairstyle that you can think of, granted, I've probably tried it. I've done weave, wigs, braids, everything I've tried. Dreads, I went bald. I actually like my bald look. Oh, my internet is unstable. Oh, my data's running low, guys. And I refuse. I have 10 gig of high speed and I refuse to pay money for more. It's ridiculous. And it's because my flipping internet had gone out on me. Thanks, Bell. And they gave me what, a $4 credit on my next bill? Like, that's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So my appointment's not until 1 o'clock, but I have braids yet, because I was planning to do those ombre colors with like pink at the top and blue at the bottom, but the hairdresser is like, oh, those aren't, you know, good quality hair, so I have to buy a specific brand that she prefers to use. And their ombre is just... Yesterday I went to the stores up here and I'm very particular. I wanted black at the top and blonde on the bottom, but then the whole entire black was mixed with the blonde and still blonde on the bottom, and I didn't like that. It has to be straight black and then blonde. I know, it's the little things that we get hung up on, right? But that's just... Oh my Lord. And this is my hair blow. The hairdresser's gonna cuss me because she's gonna be like, oh, you didn't straighten out your hair. I tried to. I bought... I can comb it out as I'm drying it, and it didn't fit. Because I washed my hair since yesterday, and I do the drench method, which I put, you know, just after you wash it, you just put it with put conditioner in while it's still wet, and you know, twist it up and just leave it like that. It makes your hair really soft, and that's what actually moisturizes your hair. Oil just, you know, trap the whatever in. So I don't know what color I'm gonna get. Every time I put color, it's always blonde. So I wanted to try a different color, you know, like that's why I wanted the pink at the top and blue on the bottom kind of thing. But if I can't get that, I will settle for the blonde. Or maybe I should try, I'm not a red person. I'm not a burgundy color person. Everyone's like, why don't you try red? I like blondes because I find it fits my skin tone very well. And I'm not talking like platinum blonde, like a honey blonde. When I used to cut, when my head was bald, when I used to cut. But then my husband, the last time I was gonna cut him, my husband was like, oh, I don't want to sleep next to no bald-headed woman. I'm like, whatever. My hair doesn't make me, you know, a woman. Genetics did. So I'm heading on the highway right now. You see, that's why there's so many accidents. I should have turned the phone so you can see as I'm driving, but I'm already driving now. I can't, and especially I'm on the highway, I'm not gonna be doing or touching anything with my phone. There's been one too many accidents lately. A couple weeks ago, has it been a couple weeks? Yeah, I think it's been a couple weeks. Time goes by so fast, it's like it's hard for me to keep track. There's a mother and her 3 daughters that died after into their car. 4 of them gone, and of course he's still alive. He is still alive. But the laws here are kind of finicky because the more serious charge that he'll get charged with is vehicle manslaughter or something like that. So he'll get charged with 4 counts of that, but that doesn't really give him any jail time. I remember maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, this other drunk driver, he comes from a rich family. He killed, I think it was the grandfather and 4 grandkids or 3 grandkids or something like that. He only got 10 years and he's already out on parole. He killed 4 people and he's out on parole. But the way the law works, they're saying, oh, it wasn't there. But the way the law works, they're saying, oh, there was no intent for him to kill them or whatever. True, that is true. But from the moment you take a sip of alcohol and decide I'm going to drive and you kill people, those charges should have been more. He should still be in jail. I mean, being in jail isn't going to bring back the kids, the family, but he shouldn't get to carry on his life. Does it haunt him? Who knows? Maybe it does. But at the end of the day, he's still alive and he can go on and live his life, you know? And he's doing it comfortably because he comes from a rich family. He has money. He has money. Because I remember the family was behind him. He was actually engaged at the time to get married. His wedding was like a few days after the crash. It was scheduled for a few days after the crash. I don't know if she's still around. I doubt it. It's sad because we never know when it could be us. We don't pay attention to a lot of things because it's always in our mind. Oh, that'll never happen to me. That'll never happen until it does. That's when we start to have an issue with something, and by then sometimes it's too late. But that's just the way life goes, I guess. I'm driving a far distance to do my hair because I didn't want to wait until Friday. I had someone in my area that could do it on Friday, but I'm like, that's too far. So I just messaged this girl last night, and she said she has 1 o'clock today, so I'm going to go. Her body of work looks good, so let's see. I've been to hairdressers before where the pictures look good, but then when you actually go in person to get your hair done, it's nothing like what they've. And I've realized too over the years, a lot of hairdressers, they'll take pictures from other pages and use it and say, you know, show it off as it's their work, when it's not. Even if you have that watermark on it, these editing things they have nowadays work magic. They can crop out what you wrote and put in your own watermark. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Did anybody watch the Will and Jada interview? Entanglement. You know what? I don't even... Technically, Will and Jada were separated when this happened. Those are their own words. They were separated. So she was free to do whatever she wanted to do. As I'm sure he was probably doing his thing too. So, and men do this to us all the time. They do it to us all the time. So I wouldn't count that as cheating. It makes for a weird relationship, but if that's what they want, that's what they want. One thing, and I never watched the entire interview, I just seen clips, but one thing I seen, they fist bump and said something along the lines of bad marriage forever, or they'll stick through a bad marriage. And I'm like, what? Like, that is so... But life is just... I hate this part of the highway. The curve, I hate it. And I've driven this road 1,000 times, and every time, well, not every time, recently, because this is the way how I would drive to go to work. And I guess because I haven't been on it on a regular, it just looks different to me now. But back to Will and Jada. That relationship is weird. But you can tell something, because the way how Will used to always dote over her, you know, when they were on the red carpet or even in interviews and whatever, he hasn't been really doing that as much the last few years. So, and they've been together for a while, 25 years, I think, 25 years, you know, 2 kids, plus Will's older kid from a previous relationship. So over time things get boring, I guess, or you just outgrow the person, regardless of whether you have kids or not. Because at the end of the day, kids are going to leave you. You know, they grow up and they make their own life. So they go out on their own now, which is right, you know, it's a passage of life. So to stay in a relationship just because of kids, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Sometimes we sacrifice and we do it, but then our own happiness and our own mental health takes a hit, you know, especially if things aren't changing for the better. Why does it almost... Okay. I am notorious for getting lost. Even though I've gone to this place or this area a million times, I don't think I'm lost though. Like I said, I haven't been on this highway. I don't drive this highway a lot anymore since I've been off work. So it just looks weird. And they're doing a lot of construction. So things are changing up. Every summer, this dreaded construction. Every year. Like, I don't understand. Why are you fixing the same stretch of highway each year? Is the material that cheap that it breaks down that fast? I know millions of cars drive this highway, you know, on a day-to-day basis, but still, it should not break down that fast. It makes no sense. But at least, you know, at the same time, the positive out of that is it keeps people employed. Yeah, so I guess I shouldn't really complain too much. It's a hassle. It makes for bad traffic. It's not too bad right now because it's later in the day. You know, if it was earlier in the day, like when I was going to work, I had to be at work for 8:30. So those times that I'm coming down, I'll be stuck in traffic. So I had to make sure I leave home at least maybe 2 hours, an hour and a half before my shift, which my work is only about 20-25 minutes away from where I live. You know, it's downtown Toronto, but it's not that far. What makes it seem far is the traffic. Because going down, like I said, sometimes it'll take me an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes maybe even longer, depending on traffic. Sometimes there's accidents, and then there's already one lane down because of, you know, construction, and an accident makes it even longer. Okay, traffic looks like it's coming up here. Should I exit here? No, I'll stick up the highway. I might regret this. I might regret this. There's a big truck on me with a big, what do you call it? Like a big rung steel thing. I don't know what the heck it's called. Let's see if I can turn this around. No. See, every time you stop and this is what, speaking of which, I should have put gas. I'm at half a tank. I was supposed to fill up. Guys, I'm so cheap. Like, sometimes it makes no sense. Sometimes I end up costing myself more money than what I would be saving. Because yesterday when my gas was just a little bit past half, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I should fill up. And I'm like, no, it's $1.03. It'll go cheaper. And now you know, I've used more gas, which now it's gonna cost me more to fill up anyways. And I don't know what the rates are today. I've passed one gas station before I got on the highway initially. And I only tried to touch the phone just now because I'm in back-to-back traffic, literally. So we need to break out of our habits. We need to break out of our bad habits. You know, my Bluetooth is connected to my car. You know, my phone is on a mount. So regardless, I need to smack myself for that. If I'm recording, I need to have everything set up beforehand, you know, so I don't have to be tempted or make any attempts to touch my phone. Because I just spoke on drunk driving. That could be, you know, distracted driving. Because sometimes you put your head down for a quick second to look at something and boom, or somebody hits you. Guys, one of my biggest pet peeve is I'm so mannerable sometimes. Listen, I know the people that know me are gonna be like, you're mannerable? What? I'm very mannerable, okay? There's certain etiquette that you're supposed to have. If someone is for instance, for example, yesterday I went to the mall and I was gonna reverse into the parking spot that I wanted. So of course I had to drive a little bit past it to, you know, to back up to reverse in. And I have my indicator on, and another car that's coming from another direction, he just came and drove straight into the spot. I was so mad because I'm pretty sure you saw my indicator on that I was going to go in there. Like, how rude is that? So I had to drive down a little bit more, you know, to get a different spot. Like, that, I was so mad. But I had my daughter with me. I couldn't what was I gonna confront him and do? He was already parked there. I thought about just parking my car behind his just to be spiteful and go do what I was doing, you know. And if he came out before me, then he would have to wait. But then I'm like, no, he might, you know, get ignorant and, you know, back into my car or something. Which he was driving, was it a Mercedes? I think it was a Mercedes or a Buick. How could I confuse the two? You know, they're two different emblems or whatever. But it was a good price car. So I don't know if he was one of those rich assholes, which I know it's not not everybody that's rich is an asshole, but some of them are. You know, they let the money go to their head. Especially if they have a little bit of power behind that. But that is so rude, guys. Have I ever done that to somebody? Not exactly. There are times where both of us are coming up to the spot first, and then we both put on our indicators at the same time or whatever. And maybe I just drove in or whatever. So, have I done it? Yes, but with manners. With manners. It was a first come, first serve situation. I was there way before that guy. Like I said, I'd driven down to back up. And then another car was passing me. I think that's why I hadn't, you know. Another car was passing, so I had to wait until that car passes. But there's something called karma. I'm a big believer in karma. So karma will get him eventually. No one's done. I've been talking to myself for the longest while, and that's fine. That's fine. You can watch this after the fact and, you know, comment and say whatever you have to say, and I will reply back. Maybe I should have exited. I knew I was going to regret this. I knew I was going to regret this. And I think my favorite color is black, guys. For the longest while, I'm like, I don't really have a favorite color, but I wear bland colors, like, so the black, you know, the gray. Like, I like solid patterns, solid colors. But I think right now black is my thing, my go-to thing, because it makes, you know, when you have like the little jump, you know, clumps and clumps all over the place and whatever, it kind of like smooths it out a little bit, depending on what you wear and if you're wearing your size. Some people wear, you know, a tight ass dress or whatever, or pant, whatever it is, and think, oh well, I'm wearing black, it's gonna make me look. No, it does not work like that. If you're of a certain weight or whatever it is, and you wear something tight, everything's going to print out, regardless of what color it is. And sometimes it's not even about, because I think I'm about 180 something. I don't know. Why am I talking about my weight? But I don't look it necessarily. Like, my figure looks skinny. It's just that I have, you know, a little bit of a stomach and the back fat, the dreaded back fat. You know, so it's weird. Like, when I had my first daughter, I'm like, because I used to be like maga, like maga. People used to think, are you eating? You look malnourished and whatever. So I'm thinking after I had my first baby, I'm gonna, like, you know, snap back. That did not happen. I held on to my clothes for years, saying, oh my God, one of these days I'm going to fit back. The time hasn't come. It has not come. I had to eventually give up, and, you know, and certain things wouldn't fit you regardless, because once you have a child, it's like your hips widen a little bit. So even no matter how skinny you are, like your hips, the bones widen, you know, even if it's just like an inch. Oh, what time is can't even see what time it is. 11:20. My appointment's at 1. All I need is the braids anyways. This girl better not. Some hairdressers are ridiculous. She might want to charge me extra to straighten out my hair, as she said it. Not like literally straighten it, but if you use that comb that I showed you earlier with the blow dryer, attached to the blow dryer, it smooths it out, you know, a good deal. But my hair is soft. Maybe I should have added more conditioner this morning because it dries out pretty quick. So that drenching method, before when I was wearing a wig, I'll just, you know, when I wash my hair, I just leave the conditioner in. I don't wash out the conditioner and twist it, you know, and let it dry, air dry. And every 2 or 3 days, you're supposed to repeat the process. You don't take the twist out, you know, put in the conditioner, retwist it, whatever. But I honestly don't do it as often as I should. When I comb my hair out, you should see the amount of hair that falls out. Like, it's ridiculous. And the back of my hair is way longer than the top. And one thing about braids, guys, when you're cutting out your braid, don't overestimate the growth of your hair. Because the last time I did that, and the whole entire middle of my hair is cut out. It's grown back, but it's still shorter than the rest. Like, I love when my hair is one level. So I might have to go, you know, because the last time I went to the hairdresser, which is about maybe 3 months ago, I trimmed the ends. And they're like, oh, you're supposed to come back every 2 months. But at this point, I think I should just ask them to, like, level it all off. I don't know. I'll wait and see. Or maybe I'll let it grow a little bit more first and then... Look, a proper hairstyle it does wonders for you sometimes. It puts you in a good mood, makes you feel better about yourself. And it just gives a boost to your face, you know? Depending on your hair. Well, regardless. I should have exited. I should have been in the right lane. I need to go to the right lane. But with these flipping trucks... See? Another thing, when your mind tells you to do something, we need to learn how to trust ourselves more. Because my mind was saying, Juliana, get off the exit up there. Get off the exit. I'm like, no. It's going to clear up. And it hasn't. I'm literally going like 20 kilometers. Not even. Say 15 kilometers an hour right now. A ride that should take me about 15 minutes on the highway is taking me, I don't know. It's been over half an hour now, though. I'm pretty sure. One of my greatest fear is, I wish you guys can see what's on the truck in front of me. It's a big, I don't know. It looks like the stuff like that they make a tunnel with. Or, I don't know if you've ever watched like the motorcycle tricks or whatever you call them. So it's a big round thing that they'll sometimes go in and drive around in. And my fear right now in my head, I'm like, I hope that doesn't fall off. I hope that doesn't fall off. Because it might come straight back at me, or it could turn, you know, fall off left or right. And I don't know, but that's all. And I'm sandwiched in between 3 trucks right now. 1 in front of me and then 2 on the sides. I hate that. It gives you anxiety. Well, me anyways. It's like, I feel like I'm gonna be crushed, you know? My lips are, I need to get some lip gloss. You know what? I need to get some when I go to the hair store. They should have some in there. Because I usually have Vaseline, which I don't have any on me right now. And my lips are dry as hell. And oh Lord, and I have to go wear my mask. I don't know how long it's going to take for her to do my hair. Maybe about 4 hours. And I have to sit there with that mask on. It's so uncomfortable. Oh my God. I'm not complaining. I'm trying not to complain, but it really is uncomfortable. Like the hot air coming back on your face. I can't. But you got to do what you got to do. So. I've been blessed so far. There's no one that I know personally that has contracted the virus, thankfully. My mom is a personal support worker, so that's basically like a nurse's aide in the States or whatever. But she goes, you know, home to home to take care of the elderly. Like, oh, why am I talking with the T? She goes home to take care of the elderly, you know, bathe them, feed them, change their diapers, that sort of stuff. Kudos go out to her and everyone that's in that profession, or even nurse. I could never do that. Not even to my own mother. I told her, if you ever get to that point in life, I'm going to hire you someone to come in and take care of you, because I don't want to do that stuff. I can't do it. Or maybe I'm saying I can't do it now, but if I'm in the position and I have to do it, I'll do it. But I can't do it. You have to have a certain heart to be able to. My mom loves it. She loves it. She's always, because before we came here, you know, like she came and she was living in Canada a few years before we came, and all she's ever done is take care of other people. She was a babysitter for years, you know, before she got her papers, you know, to be legal here. And after she did that, she went back to school and did her PSW. And she's been, like, her PSW certificate or whatever. And she's been in that field for upwards of 10 years, 10, 11 years. She used to work at a nursing home, and she was there for about 10 years, maybe even longer than that. And she was always still doing the home to home on the side, but now that's what she's strictly doing, the home to home. Because working in that line of work, especially in the nursing home, they put a toll on you, because you're assigned so many residents by yourself, and there's a lot of lifting. I mean, you have someone to help you do it, but there's a lot of lifting, and over time you're back, you know. And my mom's 62, you know, so she's up there in age. She's not old, but that type of work, no matter how old you are, after a while it takes a toll on your body. But she's considered an essential worker, so even in this whole corona thing, she's been working. And even if she wasn't, that 2,000, because right now the government is giving everyone who was affected, you know, because some people lost jobs or they're being laid off for now, whatever. So the government is giving 2,000 a month during that time. And a lot of people who are eligible to go back to work now, they don't want to, because you're actually getting more money from the government compared to what they were getting while they were working. But what a lot of people still don't realize now is that money is taxable. And that's the mistake that actually, to the government, they make no mistakes. The government is giving you that $2,000 without tax. But then at the end of the year now, or next February or whatever, when we file our taxes, you're going to owe the government money. Whatever your income level is, or your income bracket or whatever, it's taxable on that. So some people can end up owing nothing, a couple thousand. Some might owe like a few. Clearly I have an issue with talking or pronunciating certain words. Okay? The problem is my other accent, and it's not like I'm trying to hide it or try to hold it back, but I'm so used to speaking in, you know, Canadian dialect. So sometimes I'm talking, but the other accent creeps in, and no matter what, certain words I will never pronounce it Is that an accident? No, but there's... Oh, Lord. Certain words, no matter what, I'm always going to pronounce them differently. Oh, my Lord. People, like... Oh. Thank you. One thing I forgot, when I first started driving, people would be blinking their flashers, their lights. What am I? Yeah, this is where I'm exiting. People would be blinking, and I'm in my head, I'm like, why are they blinking at me? Why are they blinking at me? But that's just their way of saying, you know, go ahead. They're giving you the okay. It took me a while to learn that. I would see people doing that, or even sometimes they'll honk their horn to give you a go ahead. And at first, I never realized that's what it was. So I'm like, why are they cussing me? Why are they cussing me? You know? Like in the Caribbean, we use their horn a lot to honk. To say hi or good evening and whatever. And I find it annoying sometimes. It's so much honking. Like everybody they see, they want to say hi to. Well, I shouldn't say everybody. Let's speak specifically on my husband. When we're in Jamaica, you know, and we're driving, everything is a honk. Like, you don't have to say hi to everybody. Or he'll say hi when we're going out, and then say hi again when we're coming back. Like, why is that necessary? I don't like to draw attention to myself. So I think that's why it bothers me. Okay, truck, I don't know what you're doing. Just don't come over on me right now. But yeah, it's so much honking and noise for no reason. But that's island life, right? I wish I could be in the Caribbean right now. I'd be on a beach, you know? We don't have any beaches up here. We have lakes, and they rename them beaches. They're not no damn beach, okay? But they have some nice ones up here though. Like the views, I've seen people go sometimes, but I need to make it out there one of these days. Because I've lived in Canada for so long, and I've been to 2 different provinces. I've been to Quebec, which I don't even count Quebec as a different province. It is, but I don't even look at it like that. And I love up there. Quebec actually reminds me of New York. A lot of their apartment buildings is built, looks like New York. But they have a lot of potholes up there. A lot. Shoot. This is where I should have gotten off, but I can't because there's so much traffic. Is anybody gonna let me over? And I hate this. People. Okay, maybe I can't come over on him. Thank you. People don't like to let you in when you're driving. I realize that. Sometimes I don't either, but okay, so I can get off here. Finally. There should be a hair store around here somewhere, but I don't remember exactly where it is. So I'm gonna go where I know one is. Maybe, is it in that plaza there? I still have what? It's 11:30. I've been down here. I'm gonna be down here a while before I can go do my hair. I'm actually gonna... it feels good without the babies. Oh my gosh. I just realized that I don't have any kids. But this feeling isn't going to last for long. Because that feeling of guilt is gonna come creeping up. And I had to go back to work just now, guys. I don't I don't even know. I went back to work when I had my daughter was 3 weeks old when I went back to work. But now that I'm home with this baby, the second baby, I'm like I'm gonna have, because when I had gone back to work, my husband had taken paternity leave last year, so he was home with the baby. So, you know, at least there was somebody trustworthy there. But now, you know, he's gone back to work, and then when my maternity leave is over, I'll have to eventually go back to work, and I don't want to leave them with other people. The way how this world is now, and the world's always been a bad place, but we're seeing it now. Not entirely bad, though. I don't want anyone to take that the wrong way, but a lot of things are happening now that, or like I said, it's always been happening, but it's more to the forefront now. So So I'm scared. I don't want to put them back. I don't want to put them in daycare or make them, because even the daycare centers, things still happen even though they're different. There's a bunch of other workers around to be able to identify when someone else is doing wrong and report on it, speak on it, kind of thing. It doesn't happen. And then with this whole corona thing, like, I'm scared to put them out there. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I have until October, you know, and I'm trying to find a job closer to my city. Like I said, my work is not that far, but it sounds far. From Brampton to downtown to Yonge and Eglinton in Toronto, it sounds far, but it really isn't. It's just the traffic that makes it seem far, you know, or takes up a lot of time. Like, I waste a lot of time in traffic. So I'm trying to find a job that's closer to my house, you know, within the same city would be nice, but I haven't been able to locate anything. I've sent out resumes, and I had an interview the other day. I did a vlog on it, like my virtual interview. They canceled it, saying that they need to reschedule because there was an emergency, and they've never reached back out. What I think happened was they found someone to fill the position, and instead of just saying that, they used the excuse of, oh, there is an emergency at the building. Okay, whatever, you found someone for the position, just say that. Why? What's the, you know, the reason for lying? Absolutely no reason. Okay, there's a Shell gas station over there. I prefer to buy my gas from, which I'm not. I prefer to get my gas from Shell because of the air miles collecting points. Oh shoot. Okay. Let's see here. We're Sheridan Mall. This used to be my go-to mall, guys. I used to live, the first place I've ever lived in Canada was 200 Chalk Farm Drive. I remember the apartment number, everything. I remember how the apartment is set up, you know. I remember everything about that apartment. And my mother, when we first got here, should keep us locked up in the house. Like, what are you doing? You're taking 2 children. Oh my God, I'm stuffy. Who's used to being free, and free in the sense of I could go, we had a backyard, you know, we can, even back home. Oh my God, we weren't allowed to go out, like go to different people's yards and stuff like that. But we were free. Like we had our backyard, and we had land that we can go play in, whatever. And then we're up here and we're locked in an apartment building.